One. Now we are live. Let me just check. Everything is in order. Hi guys, we are live right now. Let me just get my connection in place and making sure that we are actually live so everybody out there can see me. So I'm toggling actually among different screens. So pardon if I'm actually moving around. So let me see. Are we streaming this good? If you can see me or hear me, maybe you can just put a thumbs up. All right, it seems we are all good. And all right, great. I can hear and can I see myself. Cool. Now, all right. Welcome to today's live session. My name is Edmund Tan, and I'm one of the co-founders for Singapore Real Estate Insider. So as I was saying, I'll be toggling different screens. So if I'm not watching you, I'm just moving around. Sheikh, yes, I saw that you're live. Can hear you. Yes, good. Thank you so much. So today is a very crucial period that we are actually doing this live session, and we're going to continuously doing this as well because during this COVID situation, I believe a lot of us are having so much time at home that we actually can actually spare some time to actually upgrade our knowledge in terms of property matters. And so if if you know that this is something that you can find it useful, do feel free to just comment below, and I will actually get in touch with you so that we can see how we can move forward from here. Yeah. So hi Ashraf. Yeah. So we do have some people actually on live right now. The reason why I want to actually do this live at the same time is also there are a lot of noises out there right now regarding the market, regarding the behavior from consumers, or even ourselves in terms of our lifestyle, our work. We are kind of being affected. So there's a lot of negativity going around the world. So the reason why I want to do this video is also to put some perspective, all right, to put some perspective into how Singapore property is going to be. Everything is not going to be like all rosy, but let us look at it from a different perspective and determine from a very logical analysis point of view, how are we going to tackle this when this entire COVID situation recovers. So the keynote today is why 97% of homeowners will fail in this crisis is the key subject that we're going to tackle today. And for those of you who are at home, let this education be a live session, so you can actually benefit a lot more. And so for those who are for all of us actually, when we are in this COVID situation and we're all in this circuit breaker, uh, I always tell myself that we have to plan ahead for situation like this. Do you agree? But unfortunately, a lot of families in Singapore, they tend not to plan ahead in terms of their property matters. So if you haven't been reviewing your property for the last, I don't know, 5 or even 8 years down the road, maybe now is a good time for you to just spend an hour and a half to relook into your property plans and see what you want out from this time. Then there's no time better than now that we have sufficient time to actually relook into the property matters, which we have kind of put it aside for the longest period. And now is the best time to just take it out, review it. Perhaps your plans has already changed from 10, 15 years ago. And now as you review, you may find that actually how your property is actually performing moving forward. Yeah, um, especially if we are planning, right, we always want to plan for the worst situation. Frankly, I'm not being pessimistic here. I personally do feel that this circuit breaker is going to be extended. All right, so I'm not going to jinx this entire thing, and I really appreciate those who are out there, doing the best that they can. But looking at the situation and for the past days, when there are more cases increasing, more untapped situations going on, I personally am planning for the worst. right? This could actually extend another 2 more weeks, perhaps even to a month, because I mean, we are always taking reference from other countries, right? So Malaysia has already extended another 14 days. The US and the UK Europe side, they have actually in a lockdown situation for the longest time. So in Singapore, we are kind of a little bit late in terms of our circuit breaker because of the size of our country, right? So we are able to actually contain it easier. But actually, for the past few days, ever since we started circuit breaker, we are actually seeing more cases coming up. So yeah, so that's my view that this circuit breaker, if you are not planning it to be extended, I'm more kiasu kiasi lah. Okay, so I usually tend to plan ahead for my clients, rather than I think everything is going to be rosy and we just wait for it to happen. So actually, all our clients are very comfortable, very calm in this situation because we have actually planned ahead for their property journey to withstand situation like this. So whether we are in this COVID, we are going to actually ride out this wave to let it recover by itself. Yeah, right. So when the recovery stage comes, then at least you are being prepared, right? So yeah, I'm not being pessimistic here. I'm just highlighting the truth that we may want to plan for something to be the worst, and to make sure that we plan ahead, we have something as a buffer. And it's the same theory for our properties, right? So our property, same situation. If we had not planned it earlier, we may come to a certain situation where our life plans change, and we can only react during then. Some life plans actually can be discussed much earlier. We can actually plan forward much earlier, and that is the reason why we have been doing what we are doing, and our clients are actually very comfortable where we are. Yeah, so I mean, I've been like, this is only just the first week. I already betahan about being confined in one area. We can't head out. Now even exercising, we have to kind of restrict ourselves a little bit. We thought that we can actually go out for some greens, see the. But now anyway, now the topic today is not about the COVID, of course, but how can we actually use this current situation to turn it into our benefit, and why is it that 97% of homeowners actually will fail in this crisis? Is later on we're going to actually touch it out. So one aspect that, as I was speaking to one of my clients yesterday, he has actually went through the SARS period as well as the financial crisis back in '08, and also the cooling measure, of course. He was sharing with me that what we are going through right now is actually a crisis. What do you mean by what's a crisis? A crisis is actually something that is unpredictable. All right, so a crisis is unpredictable, and that's why we don't know what are we going to expect. We don't know what is going to happen later on. So if you are trying to ask me, it's like, do you know what is going to happen later? Frankly, nobody has a clue. For those who tell you that they know what's going to happen, maybe we need to address it separately. But there are certain foundation and certain fundamentals we can actually read out based on past trends to help us in our decision for our property matters when it recovers. All right, the keyword is when it recovers. We're not saying that we are going to be in this situation all the way, but when we recovers, wouldn't you want to be in a better position that you had already planned ahead, rather than when it recovers, then you react? So this is the fundamental of how we always advise our clients in to take a step back to make sure we go forth faster. And I mean, one of the other reason why we are doing this is also because we have, ever since the circuit breaker starts, actually just before that, many clients has actually inquired us, looking at us for answers. All right, and this is the key information that we as advisors, we want to also advise them on what to do and how to do it, especially now. A lot of them are kind of kiasu. They're like, oh, what can I buy? Should I enter the market right now? I wouldn't say that you shouldn't have the mindset to actually come into the market, but we have to be a little bit more cautious because frankly, this crisis, we really don't know what's going to happen. Whether it's going to be extended for another 2 weeks or even 1 month for that instant. So I always share that to my clients, sometimes when you're more anxious to do something, like everybody's rushing. Your fear of losing out. There's this term called fear of losing out. So you may be like rushing. Oh, since everything is now down, why not we just buy something? So you'll be anxious to enter the market, or you'll be anxious to buy something, or just quickly sell off your current property. Now is not the best time. Now is definitely not the best time, because as when you're anxious to do something, you tend to make more mistakes. Agree? When if you agree, please feel free to just comment below yes. So you can actually acknowledge that when we are anxious, generally we tend to make more mistakes because we are fearful, we are worried, we have this anxiety that we want to do things faster. And I think that is one of the key reasons why many Singaporeans, sometimes when they overhear what is happening in the news and what is happening to their friends, or when their friends or relatives say, they tend to just react without doing their proper research and doing their data and numbers to have a better overview. That's what I mean. To have a better overview in terms of how the market is and what kind of situation are they in. So if you are somebody who is right now is like you're preparing to kanchong, you want to do something, maybe you want to take a step back first, because that is one of the reason why many homeowners do suffer during a crisis like this. They were too anxious to do something, and when you are anxious, you make more mistakes. So this is one tip that I would really love for you all to acknowledge, that you can actually bring this back. And today what we are going to share with you is fundamentals that is irregardless whether the market is up or down, you are able to actually write this out when it recovers, instead of you worrying about how the market is going to be based on the news, buyers information out there, or basically you are tapping on areas or information that there's no clue about. So we don't want to go into that situation. And the key thing about this is that if at this current moment we are still doing what before circuit breaker has done in terms of our property plans, and today if we are not doing some adjustment and doing some changes, we may be let off behind. So what do I mean by this is, we always say that when we have no time because of our work and our family, the one biggest ticket that we have purchased in our life is a property. But let's ask ourselves, for the past 5 or even 8 years, have you actually reviewed your own current property to determine how your property has been performing? This is a reality check. Okay, we have done so many consults. At least 90%, 95% of them do not review the property. So if you do, great. Congratulations, you have done your part in understanding how your property is performing. But for the many of you who might not have done this because maybe you are too busy, or you don't have the knowledge to actually look into your own current property situation, this may be the best time, to take a break, take a step back, find out how your property is performing. Because in this current situation, if we are still letting it go for the biggest ticket item that you have ever purchased, and we are just letting it, just tuck it one side, we don't look into it, we don't do anything, you might be worse off when the entire situation turns to your advantage. So if you have not been doing any review, please spend some time to take out your property portfolio to understand how each property is performing. If it's up to your expectation that you have purchased maybe 10 years ago, if it's not performing, what can be done better? And so this is one tip that I love for you guys to spend some time during this period to just review, because it will be very, very useful. So before we go into the main topic, if you have not liked and follow our Facebook page, all right, so it's not a Facebook group, it's a Facebook page, all right, just hashtag Singapore Real Estate Insider, our below in the comment, I will send you the link so that you can actually go into our Facebook page and like and follow. And most important is you have to set your notification to see first, all right, because if you are in our page but you have not set your notification to see first, you might have missed crucial live sessions like this, or information that we want to deliver to you firsthand. All right, so let me just switch my screen a little bit if you can see. So why 97% of homeowners fail in a crisis? If you have some ideas what I'm going to share, maybe you can just put down in the comment. And do you agree? Actually, 97% of homeowners actually do not know what they are doing. Well, this is based on statistics, not just pure numbers, because we have done so many hundreds of families before. And based on our own consultations, we analyzed really almost 97% of them, because they have their inability to understand how property works. They will not they will fail in a crisis like this because they have not been planning it much ahead. So the key thing is, I don't know whether are you as pessimistic as me, for me to just plan it further to take the worst case scenario, or are you very optimistic about how the market or how the entire situation is going to be better? So maybe you can comment whether you are optimistic below or pessimistic. All right, like I said, there's no right or wrong answer here. It's just to understand whether you guys are hearing me right and there's some interaction. So if you are listening in well, and you can see me well, just put in a heart, a like, or a thumbs up. I will be able to actually know what is happening. So let me just double check. Yes, we are still very well connected, so that is good. Everything works out fine now. All right, so why 97% of homeowners actually fail in a crisis? Let me maybe just run this screen. Like I said, this is an interaction session. It's not just about me. So if you have anything that you want to ask or you want to comment, please feel free to just log into the comment section below. I'll be more than happy to comment. Right. So 97% of homeowners fail in a crisis is because of this one main reason. All right. If you can see this. Yes. All right. Cool. So let me just do this. So many actually fail to plan. They fail to plan much earlier in their own lifestyle, in their own life situation. And because they fail to plan ahead, right? Do you agree that the plan will fail? Right, so if you fail to plan, the plan definitely will fail. I mean, this is not rocket science. It's generally across anything that we are doing, be it in our work, in our studies. If we did not do any form of preparation, do you think that we are able to actually get good results at the end of during our last semester exam? And if we do not prepare enough or research enough in terms of our, for example, a job interview, do you think you're able to nail the job interview later on? So while we know that we need to plan ahead, but when it ever comes to property, we realize many of them are just leaving it as it is. So what do we mean by this? We have this client that we actually consult, family that we consult. They are a family of 4. All right, so they have a boy and a girl. All right, so they are still rather young, about mid-40s family. So when I met up with them, I realized there's one key thing that they actually can prevent this situation from happening. So let me just cut this entire story short. Is that 5 years down into their property, they realize that their property value has not actually increased for the past 6 years. So here you may be wondering, isn't property in Singapore keep constantly going up? And what happened to this family that even though they bought the property 5 to 6 years ago, their property prices did not increase as much? Yeah, so this is what we actually got quite often from many consumers. They think that their property is actually performing enough or well above what others are doing. Later they know that when they review and they study a little deeper with us, their property has been stagnant for the longest time without them realizing. All right, so so this is one key thing that we kind of find it very frustrated. Not frustrated because they could have prevented a lot of all these things happening, provided they plan ahead. As long as they plan ahead, wouldn't you agree that they could maybe be able to overcome such situations that their property are being stagnant. And there are a lot of numbers and data that we driven for this family, and we realized what they have done was 5 6 years ago they did not anticipate that they are one of their family members. That means the wife, right? The wife um, is going to give birth. All right, so they did not plan that, but yet at the same time they had always wanted to have a second kid. So they did not take this kind of plan into their property journey. So when it comes to the 5 to 6 years, they were looking at, okay, do they need to actually upgrade to a bigger place? That's when they realize that actually their property is not actually performing as well as they do, although they would love to upgrade to a bigger house right now. So there are a lot of all these smaller details that we will actually cover during all these live sessions to help you all better understand how property works, which is very, very important at the current moment, and how you are able to actually benefit from this entire situation. So when the market recovers, you'll be in the better position. Because my plan is very straightforward. My plan is to help you all not be in this 97%. All right, what I want you all to become is to be in the balance 3%. I want you guys to be in the 3% group to be able to understand how property works and how even in the worst situation like a crisis right now, you do not need to worry and you're very calmly waiting to reap in your rewards when everything recovers. So this is basically what we are looking to actually put in and give you guys more information about. Yeah, so because while we are all experiencing this lockdown, everybody is staying at home, I think there's a lot more things that we are able to communicate and help you guys. So there's a few things that in a crisis that I want you guys to actually like I say, I'm not being pessimistic, but this is as real as it gets. Because the first thing that we are seeing and experiencing is the first thing is our economy is actually not doing well. I mean, we're not talking about just about Singapore, we're talking about global. This is a global situation, right? So we cannot take this lightly. We have to plan ahead and to prepare for the worst. So you can call me kiasi or what, doesn't matter, because I would rather plan first, and if everything is quicker to recover, wouldn't I be benefiting it first, right? That is how we want it. And when economy comes down, who suffer first, right? The people suffer first, right? You and me. Because why? Economy is not so good, business is bad, when business is bad, what will happen next? So the third thing is business is going down as well. All right, so when business goes down, the fourth thing that comes is our jobs. Our work will be, you may be taking a pay cut. I have some clients who called in and they were saying that, hey, they just having some adjustments. I wouldn't say it's a huge one, because I think we are very fortunate, right? The government has a lot of financial help in terms of all these employers and employees, some rebates here and there to help us tie over this period, which is great. But the question is always, is it enough? Is it enough for us to actually maintain this on a prolonged basis? There will always be a time where it's going to be cut off. So rather than dependable on what is going to flow in, because we think that is the greener patch, perhaps for us is to prepare ahead. I think I keep using the word, as long as you're prepared, you do not need to be worried about most of the situation. I think across all businesses, across our lifestyle, our property, we have to make sure that we plan ahead. So it comes back to, we have to plan. All right, if we fail to plan right now, when the entire situation turns, you may be doing a catch up, or you may totally lose out any opportunity that you can get. All right, so jobs will get a pay significant adjustment. All right, and jobs also may be lost. It may not have happened in Singapore yet, but what I'm taking in reference is with the US. Okay, in the US, they are already losing jobs, and it has already increased and spiking. If you have been following international news, I don't read news much, but because of this economy situation, I think it's good to study a little bit more of what is going to happen because of all these measures. Because you know why? Because we are all in the house. We can't go out. Well, the minimum that we can spend are all on the essentials. We can't buy things that we want. We can't go window shopping. Like right now, I'm thinking of purchasing a laptop. I'm also trying to see how to go about it. So lucky I have a client who actually works in a laptop company, and I'm trying to see how we are able to actually do this. Yeah. So because we are in this lockdown situation, many things are not flowing. The economy needs a certain kind of cycle, right? So it's like the circle of life, from Lion King. So it needs to flow, and if we stop a certain trade and things don't kind of flow, then you and me we will be in a stagnant position. So when we are in a stagnant position, there will be two groups of people that they will think. All right, the first group, the first group is they will think negative. All right, they will think negative. They will say that, oh, the situation is worse. Since everything is in a slum, I also don't want to do anything. All right, so this is definitely towards a mindset thing. It takes a while for you to adjust. I'll be frank. Even for when this started, it's like every news out there, every situation out there is saying that we have to depend on what is going to happen. How are we going to do this? So we want to make sure that things are in order and everything works out perfectly as how we want it. All right, let me just do this accordingly and making sure that we are still online. Well, it seems that we are ready to go, definitely. Right, cool. So for those who are in negative form, it's really very difficult for you to actually process how you want it to think positively. And so once we actually go into the situation where we turn into positive element, so let me just screen share again so you all can see the screen. Let me just start this off. So all right, so where we want to be is in this situation where we are positive. So when we are positive, we are actually able to make sure that the situation is to our advantage. We are able to plan ahead. We are able to actually see forward how this entire situation can be benefited. And this is the reason why during this period we'll be doing a lot of videos and going on calls and online consults with many of our families who are in need of help, just to get you some clarity and different perspective how things are going to be. All right, and this is exactly the reason. Yep. So if you are still hearing me and seeing me, right, just feel free to just comment, give me a like and a thumbs up. I'll be able to acknowledge that as well. Okay. So let me see. Okay, the key thing is that if we are able to become the 3%, 3% of this, we are able to actually go into the framework that yes, things are as bad, but can we do something about it to plan ahead? So when things recovers, it's easier for us to react, right? So to give you a heads up, actually a lot of clients were asking, hey, our role now is let me see, yeah, so a lot of clients are actually asking us, hey, since we can't do viewings, we can't go out, would it be our business be affected? All right, so generally yes, it's true. So let me just give you a heads up for property consultants, right, and agents. We can't do anything. All right, we can't go to a client's house, we can't do viewings, but yet we are still transacting. All right, so this is the part that for the past 2 days our colleagues, our partners actually do close cases without doing any stepping out of their house or even going to our client's place. But the reason why, because of this situation, we have actually transit to an online channel to continue serve our clients, to continue our online consults, to make sure that our clients are in the know-how, and at the same time, for those who really need to proceed with their property, we can actually help them to transact virtually. All right, so you'll be surprised that actually for the past 2 days, we have people who actually transacted a $12.8 million property. That's in Orchard area, and also a couple more HDBs. So these are cases where when they have planned it ahead, irregardless of whether the situation is up or down, right, they will definitely move forward with their plans. So this is what we mean by to fail to plan, and if you don't plan, your situation will definitely be in a not so good position. Let me share with you this little let me share with you what a crisis is about, okay, in our situation. So at least you can have a better context of where this will hit and how come that 97% of homeowners generally will fail in a crisis. So the first thing why they will fail is because they did not change out of how they have been doing things. So they have been leaving their property for the longest time there, and yet they even now they don't want to do anything. They just leave it and just continue as life as per normal. Yeah, so there is so a lot of them will fail in that sense because they have not planned, and when everything recovers or when a situation happens again, they may not be able to ride on it to be in a better position. All right, so let me share with you what let me paint you a situation of what a crisis is about. All right, so if you can see right now, if let's say we're talking about the virus, right? So what is happening to the virus right now? Is it increasing or is it decreasing? So the virus is happening this way, right? It's a exponential growth. Yeah, like property market, right? It's exponential growing up because every single day we are having new cases, and the day that this has not been contained well, things will just keep spreading, and we never know when this circuit breaker is going to last. All right, and if we look at our economy, all right, is it showing up or down? For those who study or every day look into properties, maybe you can also advise. So but generally across the world, our economy is actually coming down. May not be as a nosedive. All right, so ignore the rumors and says that, oh, we're going to dive, going back to what, 30 years ago property prices, or 40 years ago property prices. I've heard this numerous times from different mediums. All right, different mediums. All of them are saying that the economy will crash, market property prices will go down 20, 30 years ago. I mean, is it possible? Do you think it's possible for property prices to actually become 30 years ago? If you don't agree or agree, maybe you can just put agree or don't agree in the comment section below. Yeah, because it fundamentally there's still some form of prices that the economy has to sustain, right? So for some of all these by no basis indication that says that property prices will become 30 years ago, I don't know how they get their numbers from. I never believe such information because I believe based on data and numbers and through your own analysis and research, you are able to actually have a better indication of where we are heading to. So since the virus and the economy are as such, let me, I did not share the screen here. Okay, yeah, so this is what I draw, right? So the virus is in exponential growth, going up, and whereas the economy is actually coming down. So when this happens, we are kind of like in between, right? But the worst situation is that our emotion also goes like this. Our emotion also goes like our economy, going down, not feeling very well. Only a small group of homeowners are actually very positive that, because they have done their plan well initially. They have no need to worry about whether this cycle is going to be, because the time is not right yet. They have a longer term plan, whichever works in between, whether it's the micro ups or micros down, to them is really not a big concern. The concern is only for those who have not planned ahead, and whenever there's a crisis, they will be very worried about what is going to happen to their jobs, what has happened to their property, because everything will kind of become stagnant, right? So that is how we advise our clients to always take on a short term to a long term goal. I'll be bluffing you if I say that I'm able to predict the next 20 to 30 years. That's not how we do things. But we are able to actually have different smaller milestones in between. So as we are getting to the first milestone, we will review again. As we go to the next milestone, we will review again. So these are the small milestones that I believe in the property journey is absolutely important. All right, because our life style changes. Our ecosystem in our lifestyle will adjust accordingly. Our family lifestyle will also change. So while you have various small milestones in between, let's say a 20-year plan or even a 10-year plan for short, you are able to actually anticipate, okay, what might happen. And as long as you plan ahead, you can anticipate what's going to come out. And we will not be caught in a situation where things are just, when it comes down, means it comes down. So that is something that we want to make sure that you do not need to come and overcome it with. All right. So if you are those who feel that this makes sense for you to actually plan ahead, comment below, plan ahead, so that I know that you're going to take some action, to review your own current property in this time, so you can actually move forward when everything actually recovers. All right. So the key thing is, if you haven't been reviewing your own current property for the longest time, take some time out. Seriously, take some time out. Study your property value a little bit. How your performance, perhaps the last 10 years you bought this property is purely because you are getting married and now the family has actually increased. Have your plan 10 years ago be still sufficient now? Are there another new milestone that you're actually trying to achieve, but you haven't been actually looking into this until now? All right, so you and I, we are all both at home. We have the time of our life to actually review what is the situation that we're in. Take some time to just study. If you I actually did a video on how are you actually able to review your own property at the comfort of your own home, okay, DIY. All right, so I've done that video. I will post it in the comment section later, so you can actually go through the video. Very easy, step by step. How are you going to do that? I'm giving you the entire framework of how we actually help our clients to review their property. So I'm gifting it to you. All right, since you guys have been an awesome audience till date. So give me some thumbs up if you want the information on how are you able to review your own current property performance at the comfort of your own home in just few simple steps. All right, very simple. And I'm going to just comment it. Just put it in the comments below later. All right. So the one element that I feel during this period where we have been getting a lot of clients contacting us because not that they have not reviewed their properties, but we are actually anticipating how are we going to move forward from here. Because let's just be true here. Things are going to be different after this entire situation is going to be over. So what do I mean by this? Things will not recover as quickly, meaning if tomorrow everything is cleared, circuit breaker is off, do you agree that our mental state, our emotions will not recover as fast as how we want it? So it takes time for us to soothe into the entire situation first before the market can actually address by itself. Yeah, so you will be, even when you want to head out, you'll be a little bit more careful. So you'll be like, okay, do I still need to go into crowded areas? Do I want to still wear masks? I presume even if everything is over, let's just be, okay, now I want to be optimistic. I want this to be over by May. All right, let's clear it once and for all. Let us be responsible. Let us stay united. Let's be responsible so that once this thing is over in May, chances are for the next 1 to 2 months, we are still very cautious about our behavior. We will still not go into crowded places. We will still wear our masks. When we will stand still 1 meter away. We will definitely do all this at least for the next 1 to 2 months. But records has shown that Singapore's nature is we cannot tahan too long also lah. All right, once we start off something, it takes us, I don't know, maybe 1.5 months or maybe maximum 2 months to get back into our own old habit. So this habit is actually very crucial because, sorry, my screen is off. Yep. So it is actually very crucial because the habit that we have for the longest time in our property journey has been we just buy into something because we need it during then. All right. So we buy into something and then we just leave it for the longest time because during that period we need that situation. So a lot of us, we do not actually plan ahead of how we want in our journey in property. So let me give you an example. For example, if let's say you are a young couple and you just going to get married, the first thing on your mind you will only think about is what do I buy next when I get married. All right, so this is always the first intention. So this is a habitual thing because we tend not to plan ahead. So we only look at what is the current situation. So I need to get married, I need a house, boom, I go and buy a property. That's it. But later they know in the next 2 to 3 years down the road, they realize, oh, they have a baby already and the space that they buy, the house that they buy may not be sufficient, or maybe they have twins, or maybe they have triplets. I don't know. So by then they started reacting to the situation because reacting to the situation they are in. So then they will just move on another plan, thinking that okay, now because I have 3 kids, what should I do now? I'm not saying that it cannot be done, but that is an old habit that most Singaporeans have been doing. What we are trying to cultivate and educate every single one of you to empower you with a different perspective is, what if we are able to plan this 10 years, and we have various smaller milestones ahead to help us navigate through these 10 years? Wouldn't that actually help you to position in terms of your plans, your finances, where and how you want to do this a lot clearer? And this is very powerful because we have seen even clients who are like 50 plus years old, they also have this habit of not planning. They react accordingly to what they want and they do what they want. That's it. All right, so this habit is something I love for you guys to take back. That why, accordingly to statistics, 97% of homeowners actually will fail in the crisis because they have, let me just show this, they have failed to plan. Right, they fail to plan in this situation. So I would really love for you to actually become the 3%. The 3% to review your own current property right now. Take out your portfolios, take a look at it. How has it been performing, and to address, are you in the correct position now as how you wanted it 10 years ago? If 10 years ago and now it has been smoothly planned, congratulations, you have done an absolutely great job. But if let's say the 10 years ago and versus what you are planning now for the next 10 years is going to be somehow changes and different, now is the best time to get out of this habit, get out of your entire routine of not looking into your property and start looking into it now. All right, let me just do a quick, all right. So if you have any questions regarding this topic and how do we actually get started to plan, what are the things that you want to actually look out for, how do you dig out the information, where do you find the information? I think that's most important. So a lot of us, we want to do something but we do not know the know-how. All right, the know-how is we don't know. So don't worry, like I say, I have a step-by-step process that I've already done that is going to help you plan your review situation at the comfort of your own home in simple steps. All right, I'm going to just put the video in the comment section so you can actually take back this and review your own situation and see how it goes. All right, so if you have any questions, feel free to just put in a comment or just PM me or through the Facebook, just interact with us, because we are going to take your questions and we're going to show you a different perspective of how we see things. Just before this session, actually, I was with a client in a consult. So this client is the first time that we are meeting online, and so he has rumors in his property, right? That my property has already been 18 years. A lot of them say don't sell. We should just wait for en bloc. You get actually a lot of people doing that. Like when you want to do something, they come in and tell you otherwise. Yeah, so I like to call all these naysayers. They practically do not know what they're talking about, right? So if you believe them, I don't know what are you basing on to believe them. Are they property experts? Have they transacted like 100 over houses themselves, or they themselves have 100 over houses? So let us not look into the different let us look at different perspective, before we actually decide what we should do regarding our property. So for this client, he was like going back and forth about, oh, my property is going to be en bloc, property is going to be en bloc because my neighbor says so, da 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 da. I don't argue lah, right? It's not up for me to argue. I only use facts, data, to explain to him. And of course, numbers don't lie, right? So when the numbers come out, he will, in my next session, he will be able to see why we are not counting on naysayers or information that is not, there has no base, right? There's no basis on all this information to decide. Right, so I hope that you guys actually enjoyed this session. And like I say, every single live session, we're going to cover a lot more in depth about why the properties are functioning a certain way. The key thing is to empower you with knowledge about property, and you are able to actually make sense of how property is like, for the future. So with this topic, why 97% homeowners fail in a crisis, this is just a small glimpse of things. We are going to dive deeper into it, because by failing to plan is just one equation in a property situation. All right, if you fail to plan, this is one of the biggest thing, because you have this thought, that this habit that I don't need to plan, I will react when the situation happens. So if you're able to push your mindset to look into planning ahead, then I will have a lot that I can share with you, because there's a lot more details that I'm going to inject into this entire series to help you make sense of your current situation and how are you going to plan forward for the better. So I hope that you guys have enjoyed this, and if you guys have any questions, feel free. Let me just put this out again. And if you have not liked and follow our Facebook group, Facebook page, all right, go to Singapore Real Estate Insider. We'll be able to actually invite you in, and of course set your notification to see first, and we'll be more than happy to actually update you whenever we have news and live sessions like this, to keep you posted and empower you with the right knowledge the right time. All right, so this is Edmund Tan signing off, and I wish you guys all the best, and stay safe. All right, stay connected, and most importantly is eat healthy and stay healthy. All right, cheers.